Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we're discussing the Lord of Death and the reasons why he crossed the Rubicon Primaris instead of Dante. Spoiler warning to begin, as we will be referencing events from the Warhammer 40k novel Darkness in the Blood by Guy Haley. As always, I really recommend you read the story for yourself first, because that's the best way to enjoy the lore for yourself. Not only that, we help to support the great Games Workshop and Black Library, because without them, we don't have this amazing lore to talk about. I will put a link in the description as always. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. Okay, so as we know, the Mephiston model received its long-awaited update during the Psychic Awakening campaign, and it's an absolutely awesome model. The fact that it honours the old school 2nd edition art just puts it straight over the top for me. Absolutely awesome. Just look at this old school picture. Just oozing character. Man, I just love me some of that old school 2nd edition artwork. Just awesome. But I digress. With the release of the novel Darkness in the Blood, the 3rd installment of the Dante series of novels, we get to see just why Mephiston chose to cross the Rubicon. And well, it turns out, choice may not be the operative word. Now, I will do a full review of the novel at some point as always, and I really recommend you to read it. The Dante series is absolutely my favourite series of novels right now within the lore. Guy Haley is crafting a story that is truly deserving of such a legendary character. Now, during the course of this novel, Dante, along with Mephiston and a handful of Blood Angels, are forced to board one of their own ships, the Blood Caller, which has been taken by the ruinous powers, demons. And as they board and then progress deeper into the bowels of the ship, the enemy is revealed to be Slaanesh demons, and the Keeper of Secrets, Kairos, is summoned. Now Kairos has an offer for the angels to free their bloodline from the curse of the Black Rage. In exchange, not for Dante, but for the Lord of Death. And it's safe to say Dante politely declines, and battle is duly commenced. Now, during this battle, however, events truly unfold. Mephiston's power becomes uncontrollable. It had long been growing since his transformation from Calistarius to the Lord of Death. But now, finally, it completely overwhelmed him. And as Mephiston engages the demon, his aura of psychic power engulfs all of those around him, drawing the thirst and the rage out of all the angels present, breaking all their own mental defences and resolve. They are powerless to prevent it. Even Dante himself succumbing to its effects. The grip of the First, the visions of Horus. By sheer resolve alone does Dante hold on to his grip of sanity, pushing onwards into the battle. And with Dante's aid, Mephiston banishes the demon. But the damage he is causing his brothers does not end. Unable to shut off the psychic power, it continues to course out of him, burning the flesh from his muscles beneath his armour as the angels tear themselves apart. Mephiston is reduced to pleading with Dante to kill him, to end this now. But the Lord of Angels instead shatters the psychic hood and knocks the Lord of Death unconscious. And so became Mephiston's fate, entombed within his sarcophagus in a forced slumber, behind the strongest psychic wards the angels possessed. His body simply unable to contain his constantly growing power anymore, and with the effects his mere presence was having on his fellow brothers, the recommendations soon came to Dante to end his life. But, whether by fate or an act of the Emperor himself, it was then a representative of Belisarius' call arrived, reaching the Baal system across the rift for the attention of Lord Dante and Dante alone. He brought word and knowledge of the Calgar procedure, the process of elevating Principia Marines, the original Space Marines, to Primaris Brethren, the Rubicon Primaris. Though the success rate was a mere 60%, it was markedly lower for the bloodlines of the Angel and the Wolf King. Now, we'll discuss Dante more during Blood Angels Week, but weary from his long life, among other things, Dante sees this as his possible salvation, stating his desire to the chapter's council to undergo the procedure himself. And this just causes absolute outrage and uproar. Absolutely none of them are willing to risk losing Dante. The risk is simply too high. And it's then that librarian Rasellus has another test subject in mind, his chief librarian, Mephiston. Best case scenario, his new strengthened body enables him to control his powers. Worst case, he dies, which was the ever more likely scenario anyway. And it is worth noting that Rasellus does psychically commune with Mephiston before the procedure, and Mephiston does agree to it. But really, it's not exactly a realistic question. Undergo the procedure for a possible future and control your powers, or die. I think I know which one I would have chose. The procedure itself has to be the most guarded operation since the Primarch project itself. Dante and his sanguinary guard in attendance, armed and primed, with Asterath the Grim and his axe ready. Should the Lord of Death survive and emerge with his powers unchecked, Asterath will have no qualms about taking his head. And you could say it's a mark of respect to the Chief Librarian that so many of the chapter hierarchy are present for the procedure. Dante refuses to leave for safety, should the worst come to the worst. Mephiston is his brother, and he will be here throughout. So, under armed guard, and with his librarian brothers channeling their power to keep his at bay, the Lord of Death undergoes the Rubicon Primaris, emerging reborn, with an even darker secret. More powerful than ever, but importantly, in control. For now, at least. But as glad as I am to have got that Mephiston model, man, I want Dante to get that upgrade. To see the Lord of Angels in all his glory. And it's definitely good to know that Dante wants to undergo the procedure himself as well. Perhaps now the procedure has proven effective for the Sons of the Angel, perhaps we could see Dante crossing the Rubicon himself. And this is discussed more throughout their story, so we'll definitely be discussing that more in Blood Angels Week. But that's why the Lord of Death underwent the procedure, and not Dante. Because the chapter refused to risk their lord, and it was the only hope of the Lord of Death's survival. But little perhaps did any of the others realise, it was much more tied to the very chapter's survival. And that's a discussion for another day. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support really means a lot to me, it truly does. And if you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.